The Krillian High Council had made a grave miscalculation. They had assumed humanity would surrender after the orbital bombardment of New Terra. They had assumed wrong. Alice stood on the bridge of the Prometheus, humanity's first dreadnought-class battleship, her fingers dancing across holographic displays as she monitored the approaching Krillian fleet. The young tactical officer's eyes were cold, reflecting the emptiness of space beyond the viewport. Behind those eyes burned something the Krillians would soon learn to fear: human determination forged in the fires of loss. "Ma'am, enemy fleet entering firing range," called out Levon from the weapons station. The veteran gunner's scarred hands moved with practiced precision over his controls, each motion deliberate, controlled. He had lost his family on New Terra. Now his grief had transformed into something far more dangerous: purpose. "Hold fire," Alice commanded, her voice steady despite the adrenaline coursing through her veins. "Let them come closer. I want them to see what they've awakened." The Prometheus was unlike anything the galaxy had ever witnessed. While other species had developed weapons of precision and efficiency, humanity had taken a different path. They had built a ship designed not just to win battles, but to end them, permanently and absolutely. Its arsenal included plasma lances that could boil oceans, kinetic accelerators that could shatter continents, and most terrifying of all, the Genesis Protocol, a weapon that could render entire worlds uninhabitable for millennia. The Krillian fleet, 300 warships strong, advanced in their traditional wedge formation. Their commander, War Master Zethryx, had studied human tactics extensively. He knew they favored close-quarters combat, that they were reckless, emotional. He would use this against them. He never got the chance. "Fire," Alice said simply. The Prometheus unleashed hell. Levon's fingers moved in a blur, and the battleship's main batteries erupted. Streams of superheated plasma crossed the void in microseconds, each lance striking with the force of a small star. Krillian shields, vaunted throughout the galaxy as impenetrable, lasted exactly 3 seconds before collapsing. Ships didn't just explode, they vaporized, leaving only expanding clouds of ionized particles where mighty warships had been moments before. "Kinetic batteries. Full spread," Alice ordered, her voice cutting through the chaos of the bridge. "Show them what happens when they underestimate Earth's children." The Prometheus spun on its axis, a ballet of destruction in the void. Thousands of magnetically accelerated projectiles, each traveling at a significant fraction of light speed, tore through the Krillian formation. Ships were cut in half, their hulls offering no more resistance than paper to the relativistic impacts. The vacuum bloomed with silent explosions, each one a testament to human engineering and wrath. "They're trying to retreat," reported the sensor officer, his voice tinged with disbelief. The mighty Krillian armada, which had terrorized the outer colonies for decades, was breaking apart in panic. "Negative," Alice said, her jaw set. They wanted war. They wanted to show the galaxy that humanity was weak, that we would bow before their empire. She turned to Levon. "Send a message by turning their homeworld into a warning." Levon hesitated for only a moment. His training screamed at him that what they were about to do crossed every line, violated every rule of warfare. But then he remembered New Terra. He remembered the 12 million souls who had perished in flames, crying out for help that never came. He remembered his daughter's last transmission, her voice breaking as she said goodbye. His hesitation evaporated. "Target locked on Krillia Prime," he reported. "Genesis Protocol armed and ready." The remaining Krillian ships screamed warnings across all frequencies, begging for mercy, offering surrender. But humanity had learned a harsh lesson. Mercy was often repaid with treachery. The galaxy had to learn that some lines, once crossed, could never be uncrossed. "Execute," Alice commanded. The Prometheus fired a single projectile toward Krillia Prime. It wasn't large, barely the size of a human fist, but it carried within it the culmination of humanity's darkest scientific achievements. As it entered the planet's atmosphere, it activated, releasing a cascade of self-replicating nanomachines programmed with a singular purpose: deconstruction. Within hours, the nanomachines had spread across the entire world. They consumed everything: cities, forests, oceans, even the atmosphere itself, breaking it all down into its component atoms. The Krillian homeworld, A jewel of civilization that had stood for 10,000 years became a lifeless sphere of gray dust orbiting its sun like a tombstone. The effect on the galaxy was immediate and profound. Species that had watched humanity's rise with amusement or contempt suddenly reassessed. The Galactic Council, which had remained neutral during the Krillian-human conflict, immediately called for an emergency session. Delegations arrived bearing olive branches and peace treaties. Alice watched the diplomatic feeds from the Prometheus, now orbiting the ruins of Corellia Prime as a grim guardian. She felt no satisfaction, no triumph. Only a hollow ache that even vengeance couldn't fill. "Do you think they understand now?" Levon asked quietly, standing beside her as they gazed at the dead world below. "They understand fear," Alice replied. "Whether they understand the lesson, that remains to be seen." She turned from the viewport, her reflection ghosting across the glass, a young woman who had aged decades in a single battle. "We didn't want this. We wanted peace, cooperation, a place among the stars as equal. And now?" Levon asked. "Now," Alice said, her voice hardening with resolve, "we have something better than their respect. We have their terror. No species will ever again mistake human mercy for human weakness. The Prometheus and ships like her will ensure that humanity's children can grow up without fear of orbital bombardment, without watching their worlds burn." As if in response to her words, the ship's AI announced incoming transmissions from 17 different species, all offering alliances, trade agreements, and eternal friendship. The message was clear. Humanity had earned its place in the galaxy not through diplomacy or trade, but through the most ancient currency of all, overwhelming, undeniable, merciless power. The age of humanity's innocence among the stars had ended on New Terra. The age of humanity's dominance had begun above Corellia Prime, and the galaxy would never be the same. The end.